Homer's Odyssey, Book 5. The argument. A second court on Jove attends, who Hermes to Calypso sends, commanding her to clear the ways Ulysses sought, and she obeys. When Neptune saw Ulysses free, and so in safety plow the sea, enraged he ruffles up the waves, and splits his ship. Leucothea saves his person yet, as being a dame whose godhead governed in the frame of those sea tempers. But the mean, by which she curbs dread Neptune's spleen, is made a jewel, which she takes from off her head, and that she makes Ulysses on his bosom wear about his neck. She ties it there, and when he is with waves beset, bids wear it as an amulet, commanding him that not before he touched upon Phaeacia's shore, he should not part with it, but then return it to the sea again, and cast it from him. He performs, yet after this bides bitter storms, and in the rocks sees death engraved, but on Phaeacia's shore is saved. Another argument, Epsilon. Ulysses builds the ship, and gains the glassy fields, pays Neptune pains. Aurora rose from high-born Tithon's bed, that men and gods might be illustrated. And then the deities sat. Imperial Jove, that makes the horrid murmur beat above, took place past all, whose height forever springs, and from whom flows the eternal power of things. Then Pallas, mindful of Ulysses, told the many cares that in Calypso's hold he still sustained, when he had felt before so much affliction and such dangers more. "O Father," she said, "and ye ever blessed, give never king hereafter interest in any aid of yours, by serving you, by being gentle, human, just, but grow rude and forever scornful of your rights, all justice ordering by their appetites. Since he that ruled as it in right behoved, that all his subjects and as his children loved, finds you so thoughtless of him and his birth, thus men begin to say, ye rule in earth, and grudge at what you let him undergo. Who yet the least part of his sufferance know, thralled in an island, shipwrecked in his tears, and in the fancies that Calypso bears, bound from his birthright, and all his shipping gone, and all of his soldiers not retaining one, and now his most loved son's life doth inflame their slaughterous envies, since his father's fame he puts in pursuit, and is gone as far as sacred Pylos, and the singular dame breeding Sparta." With this reply the cloud assembler answered, "What words fly thy own remembrance, daughter? Hast not thou the counsel given thyself, that told thee how Ulysses shall with his return address his wooer's wrongs? And for the safe access his son shall make to his innative port, do thou direct it, in as curious sort as thy wit serves thee. It obeys thy powers. And in their ships return the speedless wooers." Then turned he to his issue Mercury, and said, "Thou hast made good our embassy to the other statists. To the nymph then now bear our true-spoken counsel for a retreat of patient Ulysses, who shall get no aid from us, nor any mortal man, but in a patched-up skiff, built as he can, and suffering woes enough, the 20th day at fruitful Scheria let him breathe his way, with the Phaeacians that half deities live, who like a god will honor him, and give his wisdom clothes and ship and brass and gold, more than for gain of Troy, he ever told, where at the whole division of the prey, if he a saver were, or got away without a wound, if he should grudge, 'twas well. But then shall crown all, therefore fate will deal so well with him, to let him stand and see his native earth, friends, house, and family." Thus charged he. Nor Argicides denied, but to his feet his fair-winged shoes he tied, ambrosian, golden, that in his command put either sea or the unmeasured land, with pace as speedy as a puff of wind. Then up his rod went, with which he declined the eyes of any waker when he pleased, and any sleeper when he wished diseased. This took, he stooped Pieria, and thence glid through the air, and Neptune's confluence kissed as he flew, and checked the waves as light as any sea-mew in her fishing flight, her thick wings sousing in the savory seas. Like her, he passed a world of wilderness. But when the far-off isle he touched, he went up from the blue sea to the continent, and reached the ample cavern of the queen, whom he within found, without seldom seen. A sun-like fire upon the hearth did flame, the matter precious and divine the frame. Of cedar cleft and incense was the pile, thus breathed an odor round about the isle. Herself was seated in an inner room, whom sweetly sing he heard, and at her loom, about a curious web, whose yarn she threw in with a golden shuttle. A grove grew in endless spring about her cavern round, with odorous cypress, pines, and poplars crowned, where hawks, sea owls, and long-topped bitters bred, and other birds their shady pinions spread, all fowls maritimal. None roosted there, but those whose labors in the waters were. A vine did all the hollow cave embrace, still green, yet still ripe bunches gave it grace. 4 fountains, one against another, poured their silver streams, and meadows all enflowered, with sweet balm gentle, and blue violets hid, that decked the soft breasts of every fragrant mead. Should anyone, though he immortal were, arrive and see the sacred objects there, he would admire them, and be overjoyed. And so stood Hermes' ravished powers employed. But having all admired, he entered on the ample cave, nor could be seen unknown of great Calypso. For all deities are prompt in each other's knowledge, though so far severed in dwellings. But he could not see Ulysses there within. Without was he sat ashore, where 'twas his use to view the unquiet sea, sighed, wept, and empty drew his heart of comfort. Placed here in her throne, that beams cast up to admiration, divine Calypso questioned Hermes thus. For what cause, dear, and much esteemed by us, thou golden-rod adorned Mercury, arrivest thou here? Thou hast not used to ply thy passage this way. Say, whatever be thy heart's desire, my mind commands it thee, if in my means it lie or power of fact. But first, what hospitable rites exact, come yet more near and take. This said, she set a table forth and furnished it with meat, such as the gods taste, and served it with vermilion nectar. When with banquet fit he had confirmed his spirits, and he thus expressed his cause of coming. Thou hast made request, goddess of goddesses, to understand my cause of touch here, which thou shalt command and know with truth. Jove caused my course to thee against my will, for who would willingly lackey along so vast a lake of brine, near to no city that the powers divine receives with solemn rites and hecatombs? But Jove's will ever all law overcomes. No other god can cross or make it void, and he affirms that one the most annoyed with woes and toils of all these men that fought at Troy for Priam's city, and to end hath brought 9 years in the contention, is with thee. For in the 10th year, when Roy victory was won to give the Greeks the spoil of Troy, return they did profess, but not enjoy, since Pallas they incensed, and she the waves by all the wind's powers that blew ope their graves, and there they rested. Only this poor one, this coast both winds and waves have cast upon, whom now forthwith he wills thee to dismiss, affirming that the unaltered destinies not only have decreed he shall not die apart his friends, but of necessity enjoy their sights before those fatal hours, his country's earth reach and erected towers. This struck a love-checked horror through her powers. When, naming him, she this reply did give. Insatiate are ye gods, past all that live, in all things you effect, which still converts your powers to envies. It afflicts your hearts that any goddess should, as you obtain the use of earthly dames, enjoy the men, and most in open marriage. So ye fared when the delicious-fingered morning shared Orion's bed. You, easy-living states, could never satisfy your emulous hates, till in Ortygia the precise-lived dame, gold-throned Diana, on him rudely came, and with her a swift shaft slew him. And such pains, with rich-haired Ceres, pleased to give the reins to her affection, and the grace did yield of love and bed amidst a 3-cropped field. To her Iasion he paid angry Jove, who lost who lost no long time notice of their love, but with a glowing lightning was his death, and now your envies labor underneath a mortal's choice of mine, whose life I took to liberal safety, when his ship Jove struck with red-hot flashes, piecemeal in the seas, and all his friends and soldiers succorless perished but he. Him, cast upon this coast, with blast and billows, I, in life given lost, preserved alone, loved, nourished, and did vow to make him deathless, and yet never grow crooked or worn with age his whole life long. But since no reason may be made so strong to strive with Jove's will, or to make it vain, no, not if all the other gods should strain their powers against it, let his will be law, since he affords him fit means to withdraw as he commands him, to the raging main. But means from me he never shall obtain, for my means yield not men, nor ship, nor oars, to set him off from my so envied shores. But if my counsel and goodwill can aid his safe pass home, my best shall be essayed.